Hey y'all, really quickly, spread the word, send this everyone you know. To our 6 faithful, old faithful subscribers. Make your family subscribe. Just turn off notifications. We're trying to change platforms to YouTube Live. We want to do it live because we're a little bit over the fakeness of AI. And we want you guys to see us fail in real time and, just face plant like we normally do. It's cool. We have a barrier to entry though, and that is 50 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We're at 35. Send, share, just click. Link will be in show notes. Thank you kindly.
Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Eric.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Good to be here. I think I'm a little scared. I'm not. Well, I'm a little scared. I'm not sure what you guys are going to do to me today.
That's half of the fun, right?
For who?
There may be some biblical, sacrificial, I don't know, ritualistic healing through video, which you're reluctant to be on anyway. So yeah.
I mean, the first part of that, when you said ritual sacrifice, I was thinking like, oh, you didn't tell me I was going to get lunch, but
yeah. I don't know that that's in our budget at the moment, but I mean, I can Uber something over there real quick if you need provisions.
I got a hot beverage, so I think I can last.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it freezing there?
Today is actually great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the mid 70s, I think, today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
February
Yesterday
3rd.
was pretty nice too.
And then supposedly snow next week.
Right.
That tracks.
Well, the what's it called? Groundhog saw its shadow, so we're getting 6 more weeks.
Okay, wait. Quick trivia question.
Sure.
Okay.
Does anyone know? Oh my God, it's so gross. What the name of the hill where you watch the groundhog come out of, the name of it?
Just because you said it was gross, I'm going to guess Bulger's Knob.
Okay, knob is part, so you get 50% credit for that. But it's like Gobbler's Knob.
Gobbler's Knob. There you go.
It's oh my God, I'm like that. I'm an adult and I'm having trouble with that word. Like,
if that's not a heavy metal song or band already, it needs to be.
well, I feel like it's the name. It should be the name of the largest dildo commercially available. Gobbler's Knob. Just this.
That's terrible. It's terrible.
What is going on?
If that were a restaurant, what would they serve?
Gobbler's Knob?
Yeah.
I feel like they would, since it's like gobbler in it, it would have to be like something with a nice German beer, like a big beer, right? Yeah. Out, the mugs.
Yeah, that works. I was thinking it was like Cracker Barrel, but every meal is 2 plates high. Because you got to gobble it all up.
And I feel like there has to be something knobbish in the food presentation. Like maybe it's all dome shaped.
I think that's what the people who eat there are called.
They're knobs. I like that. We'll stick with that.
Okay.
So we are chatting today with Eric Howerton.
Right.
Our guest, our interviewee today. And Eric is in Oklahoma, where Liz is at the moment. Currently, right? You're not in Utah?
I'm here at the moment. I do move around and travel a lot, but I'm back at home base for the time being.
Okay. And Eric has...
Didn't you move to Tulsa? Or were you going to move to Tulsa?
I haven't moved to Tulsa yet. I got a new job, so I'm working in Stillwater and Tulsa.
Okay.
But I was gone too much of December and early January to facilitate a move at that point in time. So the plan now is to move out there this summer. But
okay,
the best laid plans of mice and men, so they say.
So they say.
So yeah.
So Eric's been helping us a bit with our editing of our book, but Eric also has some really fun projects we'll talk about as much as he wants to talk about them. Um,
And projects and get
yeah.
some free plugs for them.
Yes, yes. I got the email, so we'll put them in the show notes so folks can look you up. Um, so we don't want to like talk about the book, but we're going to talk about the book.
Okay, I'll try not to.
Okay, cool. It's clear as mud. But Liz, let's see, how do you know Liz, Eric? We can start there because that's the origin story.
It's a long and winding road. Liz was cutting hair at a barbershop called Everyman downtown. Did we mention company names on the podcast?
Oh yeah. Well, it was a true thing.
True. Yeah.
Can we swear on the podcast? Not that those two things are going to be related.
Oh yeah, we swear all the time.
All the time.
Liz was cutting
Swearing
hair.
is okay.
All right, great. Liz was cutting hair, but I was not getting my hair cut by Liz at that time. I was getting my hair cut by another stylist who left after a couple years. And so I called to make an appointment and saw that the previous stylist was no longer working there. And I also saw that on the website, all of the stylists had bios. And so I read the bios and I picked Liz's bio because it mentioned New Mexico. And I figured there's nothing more awkward than getting your hair cut and having a stranger touch your head and not having anything to talk about. So at least you would have that to talk about. And Rachel's holding up her hand to say, like, I love it when strangers touch my head and say nothing. Go ahead.
Well, listen, yeah, I would totally love that. Liz and I have this conversation all the time because we both work in industries where we break the corporeal, the body, the physical barrier of
personal boundary.
So her with hair and I'm with like dance and Pilates and physical bodies and stuff. So I'm always getting in with people in their stuff and like tactily cueing them and they're all like, oh my God, okay, that's great. But then because we do that, they share everything. It's like a mild form of torture and they just let everything out. So we try to keep it like name free so we don't identify clients, but her and I have conversations all the time about this because it's a thing in both of our works. Yeah. So yeah, it's good.
In my world, so I don't think it hasn't been mentioned yet, but I'm a professor at Oklahoma State.
I was gonna let you,
among other things, but in that line of profession, touching is very frowned upon.
Yeah. You got to get into priesthood for that.
Right. So I was just very aware of those types of things, and I wanted to also be comfortable while somebody's cutting my hair. So I thought if Liz and I could talk about New Mexico. New Mexico is a place I love. That would put me at ease. So then Liz started cutting my hair, and best haircuts I've ever had. Like, I feel bad every time I run into Liz and I'm wearing a hat because I feel like I'm not advertising her work in the way that I should be.
So kind.
But we've gone through several different lineup changes with my hair. And, currently I'm only wearing a cap because current fashion, the current style takes a little bit longer to prepare, and I had a lot of meetings this morning. You didn't have time to get to it. But I'll send you guys a picture of the purple afro, and you can post it online.
Absolutely.
I think to quote you, it's the full purple poof.
The full purple poof. Yeah, it takes a while to dry.
Yeah, fair. So that's
okay. So
Liz and I met.
What?
That's how Liz.
That's the story of how Liz and I met.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course after that, I would run into Liz working at her food truck, and at the barbershop. And then Rachel and I met because Liz and I got to talking once when she was cutting my hair about how about the memoir.
After like 5 years.
Yeah, after several years. She mentioned that you guys had a memoir manuscript, and I said, well, I know a little bit about editing, a little bit about publishing, so if you guys need any help or advice, let me know. And you guys asked me to read it through, and I did, and now I know an unfair amount about both of you, and you both still know very little about me.
Yep. That's why we're doing this. This is payback.
I'm just supposed to expose myself now.
I said you didn't have to wear clothes, but it's totally up to you.
Well, I wasn't quite sure how cold it was going to be today, so I erred on the side of caution.
Well, thanks. So tell us a little bit about what you do other than being a professor, because you do have so much things that you do, and also like what you've written, things like that.
And also, what kind of professing do you do?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I stand on the street corner. No. So at Oklahoma State, I am a teaching associate professor in the English department. So I teach technical writing classes, literature classes, composition classes, so classes on food studies, and a little bit on artificial intelligence. And then I'm also the director of the Center for Poets and Writers, which is a nonprofit run out of the OSU Tulsa campus. And we basically promote community artistic growth, collaboration, and readings. And we offer creative writing and film workshops at a very, very discounted rate. Often very small workshops, so you get a lot of personal feedback with the instructor. These are ungraded, not for credit. They're just, I don't want to say vocational because they're more artistic than that, but they are aimed at helping people develop their craft and giving them the skills that they might need to either enter the film industry or try and publish work.
Nice.
So that's my OSU professional CV right there in a minute. But as far as my other projects go, I am in a band called Lake Mar, or Lake Mare, or Lake Mari, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's easier spelled than said. So it's LAKE space MAR/E. And so we are a loud, sort of punky, metally, screamy music project out of Logan, Utah. And we've been performing live for the past 2 years and are working on recording tracks and releasing them. We've got a couple singles that you can stream. So we're working on recording more of those and playing shows and scheduling more shows and trying to build up online profile. Like, it's bizarre to me. I've been playing music for a long time. Only with this latest project, when we're trying to book shows, do people ask, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
Yeah.
They ask you that almost before they ask what kind of music you are, what do you sound like, or anything of that nature.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
No.
So that's a little bit different, but
So
anyway, that's just to say, like, even if you don't like our music, if you could follow us on Instagram or Spotify, that still helps. You don't have to even play.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. We I went to a show last night, which is why I said I look like death, because I was just like, I'm too old for like late nights anymore. But the band that we went to see, which I really enjoyed, I'm finally got to see them, but they have a Apple. It was pretty cool. It was like a little Apple spot at the back of when you exit. And so they want everyone to take tons of videos and then like upload. So before you leave, you upload them to their drive, and then they use all that content for their, distribution on their socials and everything. And I was like, well, that's an easy way to put people to work for you. You don't even have to have a photographer, right? Or a videographer at the event, because you've got everyone doing it for you, which was kind of, I don't know if I felt offended or if I thought it was genius. It's like, this is slave labor. I'm paying you.
I see a lot of different arguments involved there on both sides. For one, as a performer, I don't mind necessarily if people want to take a video or take a
Right.
photo. I don't love being on video in the first place, but when I'm performing, it's in a public space. It's inevitable. You know, there's nothing I can do about it. Plus, I have most of the lights shining at me, so I don't often see it.
Yeah.
But if everybody has their phone out, I think it really does change the environment.
Yes.
And the band is already performing it on display, but if too many people have their phones out, now the band is a specimen for observation. And that's a much less personal experience. And I think live music is so personal. Like, why? And I take photos at concerts. You know, I'm not saying I'm teetotaling technology at concerts or anything.
Yeah.
But it does interfere with that connection a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I've done a lot less of that in my older years. As I begin the aging process, that's what we're saying these days.
Yeah, I find more and more if I take videos or photos at concerts, it's to immediately send them to somebody who's not there.
Yeah.
Not for my own revisitation purposes.
I think the best thing about when you go somewhere and do something or watch a concert or whatever, and then you realize you haven't taken any videos, that's the best because you were having such a great time that you did not even think about pulling out your phone. You know what I mean? I feel that with like even other situations, but
yeah, no, I think that all encompassing kind of being absorbed in the experience is so rare.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens to me a lot with food, right? Like with a good meal, like say you go to a restaurant and you and the people you're with all order something different. Your food might be so good that you don't even want to try their food, you know, or your food is so good that you can't even stop to take a drink.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I find that
it's so good nobody is talking.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, everybody is just in the meal. And I find that for me, it's like a bifurcate. I call it my taste buds need one path at a time, right? For food, where I'm like, no, this is so good. If I taste a bite of yours, then whatever's on your plate is going to ruin the purity of this experience that I'm having right now. And I want that to be sacred because this is like my taste buds and where they're at. But I think it's the same for a concert too, where if I do end up pulling out my phone, then I've lost like the continuity of like the whole show as one piece curated for my ears and my eyes. And then it kind of gets like cut, like an edit cut in between there if I pull out the phone. But that's only a good ones too. I agree that it's good ones.
But
So
it's like pausing the movie too much at home. It's the same. It's like
yes.
Especially if it's a movie where you're supposed to be in it because there's so much suspense or
right.
Or drama or even horror, and you're just like, oh, hold on, every 5 minutes.
Yes.
I go to the bathroom, pulls you out of it.
So you've got Professor, you play in a band, and I know you were you were doing other stuff too.
I've got a movie that's coming out. So the movie is called Go Down Diller. It's a short film, roughly 20 minutes long. And it's based on a short story that I wrote and published about 8 years ago of the same name. And 2 years ago, a buddy of mine Andrew Bateman, he's a film professor in Colorado. He contacted me and asked me if I had any stories that I thought would make good film scripts. And I've always thought that I kind of write from a very visual perspective anyway, just the way that I write fiction. I tend to write things that I'm seeing, and that often translates pretty easily to the screen. So I sent him a bunch of stories, and he chose one of the more ridiculous ones that has a talking bear that works at a fast food restaurant. And so we shot that the summer before last. Andrew directed and produced it. He put so much work into it, and it turned out so well. I'm so happy with it and so proud of it. And all the cast and crew that worked on it, they labored so much and made it such a good film. I was so impressed by how well it turned out. So that's currently being submitted to festivals, and we'll start hearing back from festivals towards the end of this month.
Okay.
Very cool. I want to see it. I want to see it. Well, if you get in, you have to let us know so we can, yeah.
Absolutely. As soon as it premieres, we'll release hopefully we'll have a schedule and we can just post that.
Cool. That's exciting. All right.
And then what other things I have? I don't have it going on anymore, but there was a period where I was running a small hot sauce company.
Oh yeah, tried that hot sauce. Very good.
So thank you. So that was fun. But other life takes different turns, and just didn't have time to grow a garden and make hot sauce all spring and all summer last year. So took a break from that. That could come back at some point, though. We'll see.
Nice. Very cool. Almost all like artistic endeavors to some degree, which is really cool. I had one question for you. The not-for-profit creative writing
Center for Poets and Writers.
Center for Poets and Writers, is that funded by OSU? Do they get funding from that? Meaning, does the university get funding to run it for you, or is it?
So all of the workshops are self-funded. We basically pay the instructors from what we collect from registration payments.
Okay.
And as much as possible, we offer scholarships as soon as we have enough registration to cover the cost of the instructor.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
The same for the film workshops. They operate very similarly, and we actually get a lot of donations from the Cherokee Nation.
Okay.
We support a lot of those film workshops and the enrollment therein.
Good. That's cool. I was a little concerned. I was like, man, with a bunch of funding, I know that's going to get just chopped everywhere. It's always art stuff that goes first, and I'm like, at least you're somewhat insulated from that. And I do think that more people are going to have to go with this model, where you're not just begging for, any funds or the government stuff that's probably going to most likely go away.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that there's no begging involved, because there's definitely some. The workshops are self-sustaining, but the Center for Poets and Writers also hosts several reading series, as well as Tulsa Lit Fest.
Okay.
And some of that is mostly funded by donations.
Okay.
Because we bring in visiting writers, and of course that has costs.
Sure.
And for Tulsa Lit Fest, we also bring in visiting writers. We have event space. We have food and performance and seating costs and things like that. So
you give people food when they go to your events?
Depends on the event, but usually food costs would be like meals for a visiting writer.
Okay. He was just giving us grief about it. He didn't know there wasn't lunch today. So it's not in the budget yet.
I mean, just text me a taco or a sandwich or something. Some French fries.
I got some cheese for you if you really need it.
I will never turn down cheese. I just had some amazing cheese.
Did I show him?
You can show him.
I need to.
Rachel has a massive block of cheese. I'm going to say wheel of cheese.
A wheel.
She pulled it out.
So I've gotten through half of it. I picked this up in Mexico. The first day I went to the shop and picked up cheese, and it was probably like, that much.
Hold it up closer. Is it brie?
No, it's goat cheese. You can see it on the end there. Actually, it's kind of fading off right now. But anyway, it's goat sheep cheese, and it's made in Mexico right there. So it's basically it's a little like a brie, but not quite as rich and more nutty. So it's almost like it tastes more like a mix between brie and mozzarella.
Mm.
Yeah.
But super it's kind of runny like a brie?
No, not as much. So it's got a little bit thicker texture than that. But anyway, so I went back and I was like, I need all of it, like the whole thing. Yeah. And he's like, I understand. I got you. So and we're coming across the border, and they're like, do you have anything to declare? And I'm like, cheese. And they were like, just go. I didn't tell them how much I had, but yeah. Anyway, so
that's great.
Foods. Yes, I love cheese. Okay, what else do we need to ask Eric, Liz?
I don't know. We need to know. So we have had. I mean, he has read our entire manuscript, which he has given us, he gave us quite a few edits, of which we did 99% of them. But every time I get back on there to look, I have to correct more stuff. So every time you read through it, you have to reread through it. So anyway,
welcome to the life of a writer.
Yes.
My God, it's so frustrating. I don't think, well, that's like, it reminds me of also barbering, when you're barbering and you're doing a specific haircut, you could cut forever and still think, like, you can do it too much. I feel like, I don't know if you can do that with a book, but I feel like with barbering, I can do it too much. But anyway, so, what was your biggest thoughts when reading our manuscript, I guess?
No, we're gonna
Go
pass
ask that.
We're gonna pass on that question, because then,
Okay.
right? So, well, most of the audience and anyone who's listening understands what it's about in general, right? So they have the overarching, concept of it as memoir about this. But without him giving away all the things, maybe.
Well, I don't think it would be giving away the whole book. Just like,
yeah, I can answer without giving it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway, one, was just astonishment at what y'all had survived. That was the biggest impression, because I hadn't met Rachel yet in person, but I had met Liz, and just the person in the book did not match the person I knew, because you are just so different from who that person is, who you were, 20, yes. 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So much has happened to you, and you've accomplished so much and have become fully realized as yourself, and at that time you weren't able to be that person. So sure. that was really interesting and amazing to see, especially because one of the things that I think about a lot when writing characters and just going through life is, how much do people really change? Like, how much are you the same person?
Right.
Maybe your thoughts are a little bit different, but deep down, would you make the same decisions now that you would make 10, 20, 30 years ago? I just think, I think about those types of questions a lot. And so to see, like, just how profoundly the person described had changed from the person you were, that to me made me really hopeful.
Okay.
Because I bounce back and forth between blind optimism and devout cynicism at the future of humankind.
Yep.
And so any story that confirms to me that people can come back from that dark place, no matter what that dark place is. There's a lot of people like in a dark place now who've just been led astray politically, and that's not even remotely the same thing that we're talking about. But just to see that people can come back from a dark place,
sure,
is just very uplifting for me.
There's
yeah.
We think.
Okay. You go now, Rachel.
We think. That was that switch you just mentioned. There's hope, maybe.
I mean, we have yet to see. Liz still has a lot of life to live.
Yeah. She may yet again end up in that dark place.
Well, on the scale of most likely to join a cult, I'm pretty high up there.
Oh,
you're still pretty high up there.
Oh yeah,
pretty high up there. So we started
rating people lately.
Me and my cousin started rating the family, like nuclear and then like distant relatives as well, on a scale of like 0 to 10. How likely are they to be recruited and or join into a cult, at any given time? So my mom's like a 14, on that scale.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Liz is a solid 9.5. I mean, for sure. The amount of MLMs that she's done in the course of her life is living proof that she is at least a 9, minimal. And I even rated myself, like, I'm probably a 2. I mean, just because I'm like, yeah, I think like iPhone's a cult, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, there are things that I'm like, no, I'm not doing that other thing. So I'm like, yeah, how much have they, influenced me?
There's plenty of things that we have cultic relationships with.
Yes.
Yes.
They're just not all number one on our list.
Yes.
Right.
Cheese. I might start a cheese cult.
Absolutely. I would join the cheese cult, and it's maybe the one cult that I would actually tithe for.
To gain some of the benefits of being in it. Yeah, that's fair.
I would want to be as high up in that cult as possible.
But I like the way that Eric framed his response to Liz's question, because it brings up something really interesting. We had another guest on one of the last recordings that we did for this cast with an interviewee, and also was a former like IFB born and raised into it and everything. And it was Liz and I talked about it briefly right after, and it was really interesting. And now that if I think more, and actually if I went back and actually looked at the transcript of the words that were said, there was a couple things that were like, well, they challenged both Liz and I in terms of like our interviewee had completely left that environment and gone away. He went and he got in the military, which is really how he got out of it, which was, I was like, that's a great out, if you need to get out. And that's a quick, easy one to, just kind of ditch it all and go do your own way. But then in opposition to that as well, it was like, but they're still, let's say, remained very attached to some of the ideologies of it, even though there was a geographical and physical separation of being in that environment, that there still remained quite a bit of really strong help.
I'm going to say more of like a faith base.
Right.
You still had that.
Yeah. But in two two sentences of the same thing seemed to counteract each other, where sure. it was sort of like, well, I would never go back, but and so that kind of goes into that, like, do people change, do they change, do they not, are they capable of it? And it's like, yeah, well, yeah. I'm thinking of like removing yourself from an environment and, meaning geographical location and physical presence within participation of that group. But then how much has it still, let's say, permeated who you are, like down to the core as a person? And we did discuss it, like, what do you take, what do you give up, what do you leave 100% behind, and what do you keep or find in terms of what worked for you for that setting.
And that was another thing that I was impressed by when I read the memoir too, was that even though this institutional religion had done a lot of damage to y'all, it did not make you less spiritual or connected, right, to the world and to each other. And I thought that was and I hope that doesn't spoil anything, and if it does, edit it out. But the fact that, you don't leave the situation broken in spirit was also just really, really, satisfying for me on a human level.
Right.
To see that two people, again, had survived trauma and tragedy and come out as strong. Right. And it's not that the ends justify the means in that regard or anything.
Right.
You didn't let it break you, and you somehow let it become a strength to have survived that experience.
Yeah. Go on. No, I'm just kidding.
You could lift a car.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. So, and that kind of answers some of those questions that we were going to talk about anyway, but is there, let's see, should we put them on the spot? Is there, okay. Let's say we're going to do a tagline, and if we end up using it, we'll give you the credit for it, Eric. But we kind of already set on our title, right, of what it is, the King James versions, which we've already thrown out there into the universe. So, I'm sure there's going to be an AI version of it out soon. But if you were to put a tagline in it, right, or right, something that would be okay, here's what it's about, not even in an elevator pitch, but like a sentence or something saying wise that kind of captures the essence of it. What is something or what is an idea?
How about two sisters survive sin and abomination?
Okay, fair. Print it. Let's go.
Write it in the sky.
They can't hold us down. So what are you going to have for lunch?
Oh, well, I've been on a kick making something called a cheese pie recently. And it's not appropriate if there are any children watching. It's not appropriate to have for lunch by itself.
Is that one from like is it Lebanese based where they do it in Merida, Spain? I'm researching it right now. So they hollow out a cheese and put pork inside.
That sounds delicious because of cheese. And
Yes.
hollowing out cheese and putting anything inside is great. It's not that, but it should be that. I wish I had a bunch of that in my fridge right now. No, so cheese pie is essentially, I want to say it was probably a Betty Crocker recipe for people who are too impatient to make a cheesecake. I have adapted it so that it is basically halfway between a cheesecake and a custard.
Okay.
Because my issue with cheesecake, and one thing that I didn't mention before about myself, is that I have a lot of opinions about food in general.
Excellent.
Same.
As one should. As one should.
Absolutely.
So my beef with cheesecake is, and same thing with fudge, is that after maybe 2 or 3 bites, I don't dislike the flavor, but I'm just satisfied and I don't want anymore.
Yeah.
And so with this cheese pie, you can eat 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 pieces for lunch and not get overwhelmed because it's lighter and it's a little bit more puddingy.
So, have you tried a burnt best cheesecake?
No, I have not.
Okay, we need to send you details on this because it is also exactly what you're looking for, but it's basically you do everything wrong about what you're supposed to do about a cheesecake. So think of a combination between like a Dutch baby or Yorkshire pudding kind of, but a cheesecake, and you actually burn the top of it and it's much faster.
Interesting.
So you don't have to like do the whole entire long drawn out cheesecake process thing. And it's similar. So it's lighter, right? A little fluffier. Still got some sweet in there, but not overwhelming where you're like, okay, I need to nap now.
So the secret to this one is you don't use as many eggs or quite as much cheese. But essentially, you basically take 1 egg, 1 packet of cream cheese, like a half a can of sweetened condensed milk, a half a lemon, vanilla, whip that all up, bake it for 30 minutes at 350, and that's it.
Nice. Nice.
I've been putting all kinds of fruit glazes on top. So what I made last night was a passion fruit glaze with shredded pineapple on top.
Nice.
That sounds good.
I must be getting
have a piece of that for lunch.
Yeah.
Definitely having a piece of that for lunch. And probably some cheese. I mean, I know that's cheese pie, but it doesn't feel like cheese when you're eating it. So I'll probably also have some cheese.
Excellent. We need to start this cheese cult.
I want to give a shout out. I had some great cheese last week. I went to Virginia, and there's a raw milk raw milk cheese producer there called Meadow Creek. They make only raw milk cheeses.
Nice.
Which is such a rare thing to find. So even though we're nowhere near them, right? I don't know where the listeners are, but if you're in Virginia, right? If you're in Mexico, pick up some great cheese. But if you're in Virginia, especially go to Meadow Creek. Wash rind cheese. I don't know if you know much about that process, but it was so good. Great.
I can taste it right now.
I don't think there's a cheese that's bad.
I have not found one. Even
Me neither. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you like cheeses from like Trader Joe's?
Yes, there's a lot. Like there's a Parmesan cheddar blend that they have that's fantastic.
I call I call that question a non-question because if you put in a question form, do you like and cheeses in there, the answer is
Okay.
always yes for me.
Okay, gotcha. Yes.
Non-question.
Well, I have found that I live 6 miles from one, and Aldi has some good cheeses sometimes. So I go, but like Trader Joe's is only 6 miles from where I'm living right now. So I'm like, yay.
If you physically run there, get the cheese, and physically run back, then it's also 0 calories.
You could probably, you could snack on the cheese in both directions.
And you'd
absolutely
stock up and be at
still
net
be
by
fine.
the time you got home.
Yeah.
But no, Aldi is great for cheese. I have to say, I love Aldi for cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here at the end of my tech writing class, and this is not encouraging anyone to enroll in my tech writing class for just this reason. But we always have a cheese party on the last day.
Bribery.
I'm signing up right now.
It's also the time that they release the student evaluations of the instructor. Total coincidence.
Calculated. I like it.
Total coincidence. Yeah. But no, to model their final presentation, I deliver a presentation on why all cheese should be legal, because there's some cheeses that are illegal. And we eat cheese during the presentation, and they love it.
Cheese lives matter.
Cheese, just cheese, 100. Cheese 100.
Cheese matters.
Cheese matters. I have a one last question. But Liz, if you have more, I was gonna ask Eric. So what's your of the things that you do? So we'll say professing, banding, teaching or coaching, I would say, with your nonprofit, right, and working with those guys, and hot sauce making, script writing and film, writing yourself and doing adaptations for film. Of all those plethora, which one would you say you enjoy the most, and why? And I'll just leave it open so you can pontificate.
I would say probably the thing I enjoy the most isn't on the list.
Oh,
perfect.
And that would be skiing.
Okay.
With music being a really close second. Skiing and music are easily the two most gratifying things in my life.
So could we get a professional career for you in skiing, or is that ship sailed?
I think there's a real lack of downhill screaming professionals. So if you find anybody who wants to sponsor a downhill screamer, I don't know how you win awards at that or make money at that, but I'm open to hearing pitches.
But but darts is now going to be an Olympic sport, is it not?
You never know, right? Like
darts.
Yeah. Do we lose him? Eric.
Frozen.
Are you there? Frozen. Hello. He may have lost connection to us for a moment. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get him back on. But we could start, if he doesn't come back on, hopefully he'll get back on. We could start with our wins and fails list, and then we'll hope he gets back on. Oh,
there he is.
He made it. Yay. Okay, so
I was just saying that skiing and shooting a rifle is already an Olympic sport. So this is just the other end of that, because those bullets could be hitting somebody.
Target practice. Oh my Lanta, that's funny.
Amazing.
Okay, so downhill screamers unite, and cheese cult it.
Downhill screamers, cheese cult.
Yes, that's the big takeaway.
I think we just created a new foundation.
Yeah. Solved all the problems. Okay, so we should probably wrap it up soonish, because we try not to keep these 2.5 hours.
There's pie that needs to be eaten.
Yes, cheese pie is waiting. Cheese wheel is waiting.
That's impressive. You've made a huge dent in that.
I've made progress. Yes, I'd like to point that out. It was whole. So yeah, I'm doing my part.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you for being here. We are excited to chat with you, and I'm excited to see your stuff, the film in particular, when it comes out. And I think you told me your band name, but I didn't. I wrote it down this time so I can look it up and follow.
Like Mar.
Yeah, some more.
R-E.
More
You
public.
said it could be pronounced multiple ways.
There's no wrong way to say it.
Okay.
But we end with wins and fails for the week usually. So do you want to start, Liz? And you don't have to participate if
Sure.
you don't want to, Eric. We just do, a win for the week, fail for the week, and then sign it off and wrap this sucker up.
Okay, so I'm gonna say win is the weather. I'm gonna be super basic today. Yesterday was nice, today is nice. This whole week is supposed to be fairly nice weather, and I'm sick of freezing cold, so I'm happy for that. And then fail, I'm gonna say the sickness in my entire family. So everybody's sick again. So hopefully that goes away soon. I am not sick. My husband's not sick. We're staying away from the sick ones, but like my kids and grandkids, they're all getting sick again. So that's a fail. Anyway, go ahead, Rach.
Okay, Win is gonna be on the artsy fartsy scene, music and dance. It's the age of Aquarius. So I had wonderful show last night. Can shout them out. The Main Squeeze. It's like a dad band that's actually really flippin' amazing, and they were just radically energetic and so exciting last night. So I'll send that out, and then I get to see another show next week, right before my birthday, Twyla Tharp. And that's all in San Diego, but I'm really excited for that. I've only seen one of her other works, and she's quite amazing and older, but classic works for modern dance. So I'm excited about that. My fail, probably nasal categories. I'm just so stuffed up because the weather here's like manic, so it's going hot, warm, dry, cold, wet, humid. Yeah, so it's just like going back and forth, and then I'm just sound like I'm stuffy. I'm not sick, but yeah, they're the nasal categories are producing. So there's my fail. Do you want to join in with us, Eric?
Happily.
Okay.
I had 2 wins this week. The first was that, and this is actually something I wanted to mention, so I'm glad that we're ending on this note. As a writer, you'll go through periods of discouragement. You all know this, where there are long stretches where it's hard to find the motivation for the work. Right? There's some times where maybe you even start to doubt the importance of the work that you're doing. When I read y'all's manuscript, I was definitely in a space like that, where I was not sure that I had the energy or the motivation or the creativity to do this anymore. And so your motivation just helped encourage me to get back on the horse and get writing again. And so I have been writing since then. That was several years ago, but just seeing you stick at it was helpful for me at that point in time. So thank you both for that. That was great.
Absolutely.
It was really helpful. But anyway, the win is that this week I put together a new manuscript of flash fiction and sent it off to a couple publishers. So we'll see what happens with that.
Very cool.
And the other win is I kind of finished a journey I've been getting of having some ink work done. So I got some tattoos over the weekend. So that was great.
Ew, cool.
Nice. Yeah.
My fail was that instead of finishing vocals on a song that I was supposed to do, I got tattoos. So,
Well, that's kind of like cancels each other out, though.
Yeah, I feel like that's still a win,
but today is Monday, and it's the start of a new week. And after this, I'm off for the day. I don't have anything left to do, so I'm going to record vocals after I eat some pie.
There you go. There you go.
So your last week's failure will be this week's win.
Absolutely. Just flip that. Okay, I have a long. Liz, do you have a sign off?
No, you can do it.
I have a long sign off today.
Okay.
I'm torn between 2 lovers. Okay, we're going with a long sign off. As soon as I say it, then we end, and that's it. So, ready?
Yes.
Go.
I'm not frozen.
I didn't know. I didn't know if
Dramatic
it was
pause.
daring
Okay,
contest.
dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause. All social problems have a technical solution. That solution may or may not be socially acceptable.
In 1998, I was the whistleblower in a massive pedophilia case involving the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church, Cornerstone Baptist Church in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I was the lead key witness in a case that took down an entire network of child abusers. Charles D. Miller was sent to prison, and this was prior to the statute of limitations law being lifted in Colorado. In fact, shortly thereafter, it was lifted, and he would have gotten life in prison. My sister and I wrote a book about what it was like growing up in the cult. We're looking for publishers. We are going to self-publish, but we need your help. If you know of anyone, hit us up. Contact info is in the show notes. Thank you kindly.